Recognizing the need for safety as a basic part of its operations, Tata Motors follows stringent safety norms and takes relevant steps applicable in regulatory safety and health requirements in order to keep their employees protected from any injuries for which already established a set of safety standards like lockout tagout, work at height, permit to work, risk assessment, machine guarding, etc. Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles has a widespread service network in India with 1400 workshops pan-India in preventive maintenance, repairing and providing after-sales service to Tata Motors vehicles. These workshops have heavy vehicle movement, material handling as well as working under vehicle. It's quite dangerous and can lead to injuries to the working technicians. To ensure their safety while working, Tata Motors has a set of minimum mandatory safety standards which are intended specifically for these workshops. As per its safety and health policy, Tata Motors makes it a point to constantly and continuously upgrade all its workshops across the country to the latest working standards. With this intention, efforts are put into a workshop to make it a safe place to work. Milestones crossed in this journey till date. Collaboration with Castrol in November 2012. Minimum Mandatory Safety (MMS) standard for workshops launched in April 2013. Pilot implementation of MMS standard at 5 workshops in June 2013. Implementation of MMS standards at 100 major workshops in March 2014. Train the Trainer Program 2014. Rollout of MMS standard in 30% of workshops March 2015. Rollout of MMS standard in all the workshops August 2015. Safety Champion Training Program June 2015. Jagruti Safety Awareness Campaign for Workshop Managers January 2016 to December 2016. The minimum mandatory standards, 17 safety aspects have been prescribed to be carried out in all the workshops across the country over a period of time. The objective of this standard is to ensure that all activities at Tata Motors workshop are carried out in a responsible manner through the set of minimum safety, health and environment standards. Safety management system plays a vital role in developing safety culture and to safeguard employees from hazards. This system works on 4 key elements of management: planning and organizing, implementing, do, monitoring, check, review, act. Safety policy. Safety at any organization cannot be practiced without the commitment of the top management. Tata Motors has its own SHE policies signed by the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director to show their commitment towards safety, health and environment. Similarly, their workshop should also have its own SHE policy signed by its topmost authority. To communicate the management's concern about employees' safety, the policy is displayed at different strategic locations in English as well as in local languages. Steps should be taken to explain the intention of the safety policy to all the employees of the workshop. Signed SHE policy needs to be placed in prominent places like reception, manager's cabin, customer waiting area, working areas and cafeteria. Safety, Health and Environmental Committee SHE structure. All the workshops should have a safety management system which covers all safety requirements. A senior manager of the operations management should take up the role as SHE coordinator. The role of the SHE coordinator is to guide the employees and management regarding the safety requirements, whereas each employee is solely responsible for their safety. She committee should be formed involving experienced and proactive employees from all the departments. The head of the workshop should be the chairman of this committee. She report, which includes different incidences including near misses, Annexure 2A, should be discussed at every safety committee meeting without fail. Safety committee should meet once in a month and conduct a meeting as per agenda and ensure that the solutions arrived at the meeting are implemented in a timely manner. All the points discussed in this meeting should be minuted in the format given in the Annexure 2B. She coordinator should ensure that the quality of meetings, audit findings is discussed in the meetings, action points are derived and are completed in distinct timelines. Safety standards and legal requirements. When it comes to a business and corporate management, compliance refers to the company obeying all of the legal laws and regulations in regards to how they manage their business, their staff, and how they treat their customers. The concept of compliance is to make sure that the organization acts responsibly and to avoid criminal charges. Workshop must not employ directly or indirectly any child labor, anyone below 18 years of age at any time. A legal register comprising the legal requirement to safety and environment should be maintained and a process to be defined to review the compliance on a periodic frequency. The records of compliance should be maintained. Pollution Control Board consent, water, air, hazardous waste, etc. Workshop management should ensure that they are in compliance with all applicable legal laws of the land. The legal laws may change state to state. Sample legal registry, Annexure 3, should be filled with applicability and compliance status of applicable legal requirement. Updating mechanism should be put up for complying with any change in legal requirement. Machine guarding. The rotating parts of a machine have the potential to cause severe injuries. Machine guards are essential for protecting employees from these injuries. Any machine that may cause injury should be thoroughly concealed from all angles and should be made completely accident-proof. A perfect and safe machine guard must not allow the employee to come in contact with the rotating parts even if they wish to. Workshop shall maintain an inventory of machines along with guards used in premises. Workshop should conduct machine guarding status evaluation as per the Annexure number 4 of Minimum Mandatory Safety Standards. All non-compliances observed should be reported and discussed along with corrective action plan with specific timelines and responsibilities in safety committee meetings. During machine guard evaluation, the following points should be considered. Electrical safety. Electricity is a major source of energy used to drive the equipments at workshops. Due to day-to-day interaction, people become used to this energy source and most of the time ignore the fatal hazards related with this energy. To overcome these electrical hazards, the following countermeasures should be implemented. Workshops must provide various safety devices for electrical safety such as lightning arresters, earth leakage circuit breakers, ELCPs, earthing pits, etc. Lightning arrestor is installed on top of the workshop roof and connected with earth pit. This protects the property and people from lightning strikes. To protect employees from getting electrocuted. Workshops must install residual circuit current breaker (RCCB) of 30 milliampere capacity on all the electrical equipments used in the workshop. All the electrical equipment should be connected to properly constructed and maintained earth pits. Earth pits should be tested for resistance and continuity at a frequency of 6 months by a government authorized electrical contractor, and the details like earth pit number, testing date and next due date should be posted on or near the earth pit. Authorized personnel. Only authorized and appointed person should be allowed to work on electrical systems. Safe isolation and labeling. All equipment should be suitably labeled so as to identify and locate its power source back through the distribution system. All electrical panels should be labeled with appropriate danger signs. Access to electrical systems. All electrical cabinets, enclosures and switch rooms should be key locked to restrict access only to authorized and appointed persons. LOTO, lockout and tagout, should be implemented while performing the maintenance of any electrical equipment. A personalized tag with the name of the maintenance person on it must be tagged on the power source of the equipment. The power source must be logged and key should be with the person conducting maintenance work, and only then should the maintenance work be commenced. After the completion of the work, maintenance person shall remove the tag and lock himself. Nobody other than the maintenance person himself is allowed to touch the power source when the tag is put on it. Electrical circuits at the washing bay should be kept at a distance in separate room to avoid splashing of water on this electrical circuit. This may lead to jumping of current to people through water jet and lead to electrocution. All electrical equipment must be provided with double earthing on body of equipment with a clearly visible green color wire insulation. Electrical insulation mats. Insulating mats safeguard life of electricians and other technicians in case of any accidental current leakage while working on electrical installations. Electrical panels should have foot insulation mat in accordance to the voltage, low, medium and high. Insulation mat is mandatory for any voltage more than 250 volts. Electrical safety. Battery charging. The charging of lead-acid batteries can be hazardous due to the hydrogen gas generated during charging process and the sulfuric acid in the battery. The room should be well ventilated to prevent any explosion. Signs such as no flame, no smoking or avoid use of any source of ignition should be displayed outside the room. Risk assessment. Arrange and or carry out a risk assessment and address the possible hazards in the area of safety, health and environment associated with all the operations of the workshops. Existing control panels to be defined for all the identified risks and adherence to the same should be monitored through fortnightly safety inspection. Safe operating procedures shall be developed and documented for all the high-risk activities as per the risk assessment exercise. The risk assessment of a particular area shall be formally reviewed post every change made in any process or procedure and also post any incident. Risk assessment for entire site shall be reviewed at least once in 6 months. Hierarchy of hazard control is a system used in the industry to minimize or eliminate exposure to hazards. Elimination. Eliminating the hazard, physically removing it, is the most effective hazard control. Substitution involves replacing something that produces a hazard with something that does not produce a hazard. Engineering controls. These do not eliminate hazards, but rather isolate people from hazards like guards on moving paths. Administrative controls. Administrative controls are changes to the way people work. Examples of administrative controls include procedure changes, employee training, and installation of signs and warning labels. Personal protective equipment (PPE) is the least effective means of controlling hazards because of the high potential for damage to render PPE ineffective. Operational controls. Arc welding machines. Following health and safety precautions to be taken by the welder while working with arc welding machines. The welder should wear respiratory mask, welding shield, leather gloves and fireproof clothing. There should be no cuts or damages in the electrical connection wire. A fire extinguisher should be kept handy. While welding, all flammable materials should be kept away from the work area. Gas welding. Gas cylinders should be placed in a vertical position and secured with a chain in trolley. Flashback arresters should be installed at the cylinder end and at the torch ends. Gauges and gas pipes must be in good condition. Grinding machines. Grinding machines are normally safe and necessary tools, but unfortunately, the grinding wheels are breakable. The key requirements to ensure safe use of grinding machines are to wear all the personal protective equipment like safety shoes and safety goggles. Rubber insulation mat must be provided in front of bench grinder to prevent electrocution. The gap between the tool rest and face of the wheel must not be more than 1/8 of an inch, and the tool rest is securely fastened. This is to prevent the work from being jammed between the wheel and the tool rest. This may lead to breaking of wheel, and flying parts of wheel may penetrate into the body of the person working. Permit to work. Permit to work must be issued for all the non-routine works that are performed in the workshop, either by employees or outside vendors. Any work which is not considered under risk assessment and controlled measures should not be implemented and is considered as non-routine work. The task should be categorized under work at height, hot work and working on electrical machines. Based on that, the applicable control measures should be fulfilled before starting the work. All permits should be taken back by the management after the inspection and completion of the work site. This permit shall be maintained in work permit file. Slips, trips and falls. Storage of unwanted material on shop floor results in poor housekeeping and congested workplace. This restricts the movement of people and vehicles, which ultimately leads to accidents. Good housekeeping should be maintained at all times to minimize injuries. Grease or oil spillages should be removed immediately using sawdust or grease or oil removing chemicals. Clear demarcation should be made for pits. Stairs and walkways should be well maintained and free from any slip or trip hazard. Handling hazardous waste. Hazardous waste such as used oil filter, used lead acid batteries, soaked materials like used sawdust or cotton waste are commonly seen at workshops. This must be stored and disposed as per statutory requirements. Hazardous waste should be segregated and recycled within 90 days. All hazardous waste should be disposed as per the hazardous waste rules and only be sent to authorized recyclers. All employees handling hazardous waste should be provided with the requisite personal protective equipment. Environment statement should be submitted once every year to Local Pollution Control Board. Incident reporting and investigation. Workshop management must ensure reporting of all the incident, including the near miss. Even when no injury or losses happened, they should not go unreported as it can result in a major incident or fatality in future. Definitions of incidents. Near miss. an event that could have resulted in an incident. Dangerous occurrence. This is an event that leads to damage to property, but no injuries or deaths. Minor injury. Injured person should take rest and come back to work on the immediate following day. Major injuries. Injured person cannot work on the next immediate day. Fatality. Workplace death. The reported incidents should be recorded in a separate file and discussed in the SHE committee meeting for corrective actions and ensured implementation. All the major incidents should be investigated by the SHE committee members for the root cause, the main reason of the incident. These major incidents have to be shared with TML representative without any delay. Lifting of vehicles. Different types of lifting equipments are being used at automotive workshops. People bathe their life while working under the lifted vehicle. To prevent any accident while working under vehicles, precautions must be taken. All lifting tools like hoists, jack stands and tackles should be well maintained on a regular basis, and an AMC should be given to the external party to maintain it on periodic basis. All lifting tools must be tested and certified by authorized competent person as per defined frequency in Factories Act. Details like equipment identity number, capacity, test date, next due date must be posted on the equipment. Jack stands should be numbered and their load carrying capacity should be clearly mentioned on them. A register should be maintained to record the results of visual inspection of jack stands once every month. In case of any malfunctioning of lifting equipment or elevators, a visual tag saying "Not in operation, do not use" should be displayed to avoid anyone from using it. All lifting equipments installed should be with concrete foundation and should be maintained periodically. Only designated equipments should be used to lift the vehicles. The use of makeshift arrangements like use of wheel drums, wooden blocks and oil drums are strictly prohibited. Employees working under the lifted vehicles should wear helmet, gloves and safety goggles. This will protect them from small falling objects and dust entry into eyes. Pressure vessels. As per the Factories Act, any tank containing pressure more than atmospheric pressure is considered as pressure vessel. Air compressor tanks are a common example of pressure tank at workshops. These tanks must be tested and certified by an authorized person, approved by Factories Inspector as per defined frequency in Factories Act. Emergency plans, fire prevention and safety equipment. Fire, electrocution, fall from height, snake bite, natural calamities like lightning, earthquake, flash floods, etc. are emergencies that can possibly take place in workshops. These emergencies can change the lives in a span of seconds. Workshops should be prepared to face any kind of emergencies to avoid loss of lives and property damage. Workshop management should ensure that its workforce is prepared to face these kinds of emergencies, thereby minimizing the losses. To help workshops in achieving this, emergency response plan for all kinds of possible emergencies is developed as Annexure 10 under MMS standard. Mock drills mimicking the emergencies should be conducted once in 6 months to see that employees follow the procedures correctly. First aid boxes should be arranged by the workshop management at the designated places and ensure that the materials are available for the employees when required. Fire extinguishers. Fire is the most common serious hazard that one faces in a typical automobile workshop. Fire extinguisher maintenance is essential. Not only is it a legal requirement for it to be in working condition, but also vital as they play a crucial part in putting fires out, around 80% before they get out of hand. Make a site map showing locations of fire extinguishers. The carrying handle of a portable fire extinguisher with a total gross mass of 4 kg and above should be sited approximately 1 meter from the floor. The carrying handle of a portable fire extinguisher with a total gross mass of less than 4 kg should be sited at 1.5 meters from the floor. Where fire extinguishers cannot be wall mounted, the use of fire extinguisher stands is recommended. Display of fire extinguisher on the wall at a height above fire extinguisher location and painting of the wall behind the fire extinguishers in red color is a must. The fire extinguisher's number should be on the body and should be in black. Execute the maintenance contract with the authorized party for maintenance of fire extinguishers and should be done on monthly basis, and reports should be maintained in a legal register. All fire extinguishers should be maintained as per IS 2190. All the employees should be trained on using the available fire extinguishers. Training. Hazards at workshop are identified through risk assessment process. Once hazards are identified, control measures are implemented and safe operating procedures are developed. People are trained on the control measures implemented. Training is one of the major indicators because management makes people aware about hazards and control measures at workshop before any incident takes place. As per the risk assessment and control measures, following are the topics identified for training of people working at workshops: firefighting, first aid, emergency handling, safe operating procedures, personal protective equipment. For systematic training, workshops should maintain the training need identification sheet. Trade-wise list of people along with identified training topics is maintained in this sheet. Training calendar should be prepared at the start of the year and accordingly training shall be conducted. Training attendance sheet should be maintained as records of training. Driving safety. Driving on the road and driving inside the workshop are totally different skills. Workshops have congested routes, sharp corners and blind bends, and there are people and material movement which makes it very difficult to drive vehicles inside the workshops. At workbase, people work under uplifted vehicles. Due to lack of judgment or overspeeding, a minute dash will lead to collapse of uplifted vehicle, which will result in fatal injuries of technicians working below vehicles. To avoid this risk, customers should not be allowed to drive their vehicles inside the workshop. Only authorized drivers of workshop should be allowed to drive the vehicles from parking area to work base. Identified personnel with valid driving license should be given the necessary authorization to drive vehicles. An authorization can be given using License to Operate (LTO) format present in the annexure kit of MMS standard after discussing the necessary conditions. Reverse navigation assistance is mandatory for reverse driving inside the workshop. Convex mirrors installed at the blind turns should be used by the authorized drivers to avoid any possible collision. Vehicle lotto. In case of congestion or the vehicle is parked on the slope, the vehicle should be in neutral. Parking brake should be on. Key should be removed and the wheel chokes should be placed at the front right and rear left of the tires. Personal protective equipment. Making the workplace safe includes providing instructions, training and supervision along with the use of personal protective equipment will protect the employees and encourage them to work safely and responsibly. Personal protective equipment should be used according to the requirement of the task, like gumboots and rubber gloves at washing area. Helmet, gloves, safety goggles and safety shoes should be used by the employees while working under the vehicles in order to avoid accidental injuries. The management should ensure that the required personal protective equipment are available in good condition and are accessible to all the employees. Signage and visual controls. One of the most effective ways to improve a safety culture and prevent injuries is to optimize safety-related communication throughout an organization. Signage should be based on the job and task-specific hazards and control measures identified during risk assessment. Display of speed limit signboard 6 km/h at main gate and at different locations inside the workshop. No smoking board should be displayed at different locations including main gate. Instructions about use of PPE, that is, safety shoes, should be used while working at workshop. Helmet while working below vehicle. Use of goggles, gumboot, apron at washing bay. Face shield, hand gloves and other welding PPEs while welding operation shall be displayed at workshop work locations. Authorized entry only. Electrical mains room shall be displayed outside electrical room. Electrical information like danger 440 volts. Do not open the panels. Keep 3 feet area in front of panel clear should be displayed on electrical panels. Provide navigation support to authorized driver should be displayed at the entry of workshop. Only authorized drivers at the entry point workshop. Use goggles while grinding should be displayed near bench grinder. On all guards of machines like air compressor, bench grinder, water pump, generator, drilling machine, stickers should be posted. Moving parts inside, do not remove. Fire extinguisher location posters. Safety notice board shall be displayed at workshop and all communication related to safety, including learnings from incidences outside, shall be displayed and discussed with the help of the board. Planned inspections and audits. Audits and inspections are a part of the review process, an important element of the health and safety management. Audits and inspections help identify health and safety issues and give the opportunity to correct them before they result in accidents. Both are a demonstration of the commitment to good standards of health and safety culture and provide the confirmation that all the elements of the health and safety management system are working. It also provides the opportunity to positively engage with the staff on health and safety matters. Documentation and records. All the implementations must be recorded in the appropriate formats provided in the annexure sections, either in hard copy, that is, papers, or in soft copy, that is, in a separate folder in computers.
My safety,
My responsibility.
Tata Motor.
Pursuit of safety excellence.